Hello, welcome back. Well, it's time to dive in and go back in to the Nintendo cardboard rabbit hole. Oh, hello. You're right. It's another video in the same day. Not for you. It's been a week or 2 weeks or however long it's been since I could be asked. Yeah, we've got another system to add to this setup. Been enjoying this afternoon. Love this game, but it's fucking balls. Any and every shooter I own, I've always said this, I'm no good at playing them, but I really enjoy them. I need you to do me a favour as well before we go any further. This game here playing on the Mega Drive, tell me what that is. Now, that's a blank cartridge that I've had for the longest time, and it just has a piece of tape on the front of it that says Jap. That's all it says on it. I don't know what this game is. I thought it was Magical Hat Turbo Flying Adventure. And it still could be, or the sequel or whatever, but it's in like a PAL case. I don't know if it is a Japanese board or not that's inside there. I've still not converted the Mega Drive to Japanese only. It's still Asian PAL. Now, with this TV, I can change the aspect ratio. And that is in, is it 14:9? So that stretches it a little bit, which gets rid of some of the borders. But doesn't look too distended or, you know, too much of a problem. So I think I might just leave that alone, you know, because what it will mean is I can play PAL games through it, as well as Japanese games. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, I think that's Turbo Flying Hat Adventure, which I've never played. But correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me, do you know what that game is? I don't know what that game is. So it's been a bit of an adventure, that one. I sort of plugged it in, got it, and thought, I can't use that because it's a PAL cartridge, but it says Japanese on the front of it. So like I said, I've had it just in a drawer with my broken copy of Whip Rush, which was in the Mega Drive on the last video. And I think they came with a system I bought. It was like a system with like 2 or 3 games, and they were like unboxed games that came with it. And I'd never known what it was, never known what was on it. Never plugged it into my previous machine. So yeah, that's what it is. Apparently. Bullet Soul Infinite Burst here as well, which is one of my all-time favourite shooters on the 360. Fucking brilliant game. And the track sequence and the music and everything I really like as well in that one. The art style of it, love it. It's like an anime film. Anyway, how was your week? Was it alright? I ain't been back to it yet, so this is the same day. So I'm thinking, you know, this is not going to get uploaded straight away. You don't need much. You don't need that much of me, do you? You don't. One a week might be a bit of a stretch for you. I think once a fortnight might be better. 2 a month, you know. And it'll make it a bit more sustainable for me as well. It gives me time to play this shit in between recording the shit. Any road up, we have a new system. We have a box system. It'll be no surprises to anybody what this is, and it needs to be in the lineup. Now, again, this system was bought first by my good mate Steve, whilst I had his Japanese Mega Drive that he never played. Tell that story, but yeah, it's one that's been told many times. Anyway, I bought an unplayed Mega Drive from my mate Steve, and while I had that, he managed to buy import himself one of these. I think when these were first imported into the country, I'm guessing it, but weren't they about 300 quid, something like that, imported? Sure, they were about 300 quid. Now this looks to me like it's from the same seller because they've packaged it almost identically to that Mega Drive. Sorry, the Saturn. It's got this like paper and, you know, the way that the box is folded over even looks the same, and it's bubble wrapped the same. Yeah, I've had many of these. Many of these. I've had at least 2 or 3 of the Japanese system, which I've got here, and I've had at least 2 or 3. I think there's still one in the loft of the PAL system as well. It's a Super Famicom, of course it is. Get that box out of the way. Again, the systems seem really affordable. Now, she's got a lot of sun damage. It's got a lot of sunburn on it. But, and I'm hoping it is the one shown on the listing because it's a very grey on grey system in here. There shouldn't be any yellowing at all from what I saw on the listing. So, yeah, that's obviously been sat in the sun. Box is pretty good, I would say, apart from the sun damage, and I'm not too arsed about that. As I say, I'm not going to display these boxes anyway. It was more the condition of the console. So you can pick these up unboxed, pretty cheap, but the condition of the plastic these days, you're struggling to find one that's really nice and grey. It's even put bubble wrap around the top. And again, this one comes with 2 controllers. So this must have been an extra controller. And this one, apparently, according to the listing, has a UK power supply with it. So I've got no worries, no shenanigans. We have the instruction manual, which has never seen a thumb. I've not seen one like that in a long time. Wow. CHVC001. Does that mean it's a 1 chip? Educate me, I don't know. What's that inside? Yeah, little pamphlet thing to tell you how to plug it in. Yeah, we've got the original bag here as well, or two original bags. The third, that's obviously for some sort of cableage. But he's separately bubble wrapped the system as well, which is really nice. Let's have a look at that first. Poly looks really good as well, actually. No missing bits out of the poly. Obviously, the top piece of polystyrene is missing, but the actual body of the poly's pretty good. As I say, the main reason I went for this one, for this auction, I think it was 75 quid. I want to say 75 quid, which for a box system, yeah, it's looking all right so far. Looks okay on that side. And especially one that's not gone yellow, I thought was, you know, a bit of a deal. You can pick them up for like 25-30 quid. As I say, in varying states of repair and or disrepair. A little bit of a mark on the front. That just looks like dirt, but actually pretty grey as Super Famicoms go. Pretty grey on grey. That quite happy with that. I don't know how we tell whether it's a 1 chip. I think I have to get inside it, don't I? Those of you more familiar with it than me will be able to tell me. Yeah, it looks pretty clean, nice. I'd say just a little bit, just above that port there's a little scuff. But yeah, quite happy with that. As I say, you can retro brighten. I've tried it in the past and it does work, but it tends not to last, the retro brighten. Once this plastic starts to go, it goes. I think inside here it's going to be pretty protected anyway. We've got 1 or 2 dirty marks, but as I say, they'll come off with IPA. I'll mint that up, but yeah, really happy with that. System itself, nice and grey. We like that. Should we pop it in? So, I'll not be able to reach you. I'll have to turn around. So that's going to go in on the bottom at the side of the Mega Drive on that side. Fantastic. As I say, my mate had this. I can remember playing Streets of Rage and him coming over and having to go on Streets of Rage. And this was after he'd sold me. You see down the side that? All right. Seen that before. Maybe it's just me. We were obviously talking. The Super Nintendo was due out. Super Famicom was due out. Importers were getting it in stock. I was kind of umming and ahhing about it because I'd only just got the Mega Drive and I was enjoying that. I was playing Streets of Rage at the time, and I remember I got this phone call from him, and he said, "Do you want to come up? Do you want to come this afternoon? I've got something to show you." So I was like, "Yeah, okay." Now at this time, he'd I think the Saturn came after that. I'm pretty certain the Saturn came after that. And I don't know if Neo Geo was around this time as well, although Neo Geo may have been just after this. I might be making that up. For him anyway. But anyway, I got to his house. He'd got a 29-inch Sony Trinitron and a Super Famicom playing Final Fight. And the sprites were just so much bigger, it just seemed better. And from that point I knew I had to have one. I've mainly gone for the American versions of this. I can remember getting, after Super Play came out, and reading their reviews of the systems, and I chose an American one for the British language, but obviously for NTSC, so for full screen, full speed. Now, the Super Famicom has always been the sort of the cheaper option, if you like, especially for NTSC gaming. American games now, just listen to SNEStastic, he'll tell you, Pete will tell you, and Jay will tell you as well, that the prices have gone nutball crazy, absolutely nutball crazy. I did collect for the American system a couple of times, and made good money on the cartridges when I sold them on, but I have to say they have not come down in price. They are not like the Mega Drive. They are not declining in price. PAL has slightly, and I think Japanese has sort of kept its value, if you know what I mean. It may have gone up a little bit, but not much more on certain games, and certain games haven't really come down either. So it's kind of holding in that mid range, which is fine by me. I say it's not going to cost me a fortune to collect for it. I'm only going to have a few anyway. We've got a couple more on the way, but here I've got the first 5. I've got the first 5 games here that I bought for the system. Let's continue to unbox this. We've got a couple of controllers. They look really nice actually. I don't think it's either been really cared for, either been really well cleaned up, and the seller lied to me. This has not got a UK power supply with it. It's got a Japanese power supply with it. There's no UK power supply, and it's just got a skanky cable. So yeah, I need a UK power supply for that. I shall go back to that seller and say, unless it's in the box somewhere, I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. No, it's not there. Now I've had this a good couple of weeks, so the seller might balk at the fact that I'm saying, well, there's no UK power supply, but we'll see. Yeah, controllers look really good. It's not a game changer, like I say. I can either get a converter, or I can get a UK power supply that just plugs straight in for about 15 quid, I think, on eBay. That's all they are. So, bit of a bastard because it means I can't play today. Tomorrow I'll be able to, because I've got an adapter coming just in case, a converter. Bugger. I'll have to check on my sales. Oh, and some feedback on that last video. So the Darius Gaiden, it did have a spine card in the listing, so I didn't. Although I was really excited as if it's not supposed to have one, but it was still cheap. As I say, it was like a 26 quid. Was it 26 quid that game? Complete. So yeah, it did have the spine card. I didn't find it wasn't hidden. So sorry about that. But at least we had a bit of excitement, didn't we? For a few minutes in our lives. So, Super Famicom, retro game cable. Got to have it. SCART cable for the Super Famicom from Retro Game Cables. Again, you get a really good signal out of these. You're not going to have any problem with it. Spend the extra fibre. Go to these guys. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't think they even watch the channel or know I even exist. But yeah, I always get one of their cables. That's a bit of a pisser. I'm certain. I went back to the listing because I was going to buy one, and I went back to the listing thinking, I'll just double check, and it said that there was a UK power supply with it, and there is not. So yeah. Anyway, games. So it's going to be a quick one, this one. Mainly because I'm running out of time now today, because I've spent so much time having fun, and we haven't got that much to show really. So what was the first game that I purchased for it? So again, not easy to find, in decent condition actually. This game, or the game box particularly, suffers from sun bleach as well, sun fade. But this is one of the very first, I can remember this and Final Fight were the two games that I bought initially for my system back then. This one, both myself and my mate were playing this sort of simultaneously, and at the local pub, our local, there used to be a quiz night on a Thursday, and we used to get together, and obviously everybody else would have a go at the quiz, and we just talk about the levels on Super Mario World, where we compared our sort of journey on it. Where were we? Which switch house are you at? Where, you know, have you unlocked this bit? You know, all that sort of stuff. And still to this day, it's my all-time favourite Mario game. Second only to Super Mario Land. Not second only, but a close second is Super Mario Land on the Game Boy. And that may feature moving forward at some point, because we're dabbling with Game Boys again. Now this one was from Japan. As I say, you can pick these up. They are available, but finding them in a half decent condition like this, and I mean really the colour of it, the yellow is still pretty yellow. It has started to fade, but nowhere near as much as they can. They can really bleach out and they go like a really light lemon colour. There's a little bit of sticker residue on here which I'm going to be able to get off, but apart from that, I think that's a pretty fair square copy. That. What do you think? Flaps are good, although we have a little dent, but flappage is good. There's a little tear here just on the corner on that one. They tend to go, don't they? You know, they tend to go. I'm not even going to bother gluing that one. It's 3/4 intact. There is a little trick you can do. We put a little piece of paper behind it and glue it back on, but this is not going to be in and out of here a lot. Once I put this in the system, it's going to be in there until I finish it. This is one that I've really promised myself that I'll finish. I did complete it back in the day, although that was a PAL version that I had. Really nice note here from the seller. Put a little note inside it. Sega Ken, Japan. Dear my eBay purchase name, thank you for purchasing our item. We hope you like it. Customer order combination shipping discounts are welcome, so contact us freely. And he's signed it with some kanji at the bottom. Best regards, Sega Ken JP. That's nice, isn't it? And it's handwritten. That's handwritten. It's not just a doobry. It's not just, you know, a copy of something. Manuals seen better days. There's a little bit of lift there, but not, you know, these Japanese manuals. They're kind of a huge folder and folding sort of poster sort of affair. It's not like a book as such, but it's there. That's the main thing. Is it's there. We also have a registration card, but we also have something that the Japanese cartridges, I've noticed, really do suffer with. So, label looks okay, but we've got a nougat. I call this nougat because it's like nougat, you know, the white and pink. It's that much of a separation in colour. The back's gone super brown, but the front's still grey. Now, I have a game over here, but it's a PAL game. If you have the game bit screwdrivers like I do, you can basically just swap the backs over, and that's what I do sometimes on these. I'll buy a super cheap Japanese game that's got a you know, a decent back on it, and I'll just swap it out. But I have got a PAL case in there. I'm thinking I might use that for something else, though, that PAL case. Although I have got another game coming in the post that's Japanese that may need the same thing. It might need the same sort of treatment. So yeah, unfortunately, really bad colouring on that one. But again, I was looking more for the completeness and the fact that you know, the box was in half decent condition as well, and I didn't pay a fortune for this. 35 quid, something like that. It came from Canada, actually. I think this was it Canada. Sure, it was Canada. But he's wrote kanji on the bottom of it. Don't know then. This might have been a Japanese one. I'm sure I bought one of these is from Canada. I'm sure it is, because I remember thinking Japanese games in Canada. Anyway, so yeah, Super Mario World. Hopefully the battery in there is still good as well. If not, I'll have to replace that. So that might be a video for another time as well. But yeah, Super Mario World. Put loads of hours into that back in the day. Really nostalgic. And it's a must-have for the system, isn't it? So again, it's a system seller. It's a system seller. You know. such a leap forward really with the Mario games after the NES. Yeah, such a leap forward, and really built on Super Mario Brothers 3. Took that sort of format and expanded on it even more, and yeah, brilliant game. One of my all-time favourite platformers of all time. Previously mentioned, Final Fight. Got to have it. Got to be in the system, in the collection. Again, this one, you tend to find it battered. You tend to find it mint and silly money. This was, I would say, I'd say it's better than average condition, but there are one or two little bits and pieces on it that I can improve. So there's a little bit of lift here. It started to separate the glue. We can sort that out with a bit of Pritt stick. We have a little bit of dog earing on the corner. You've got to remember how old these things are. This is a launch game. Apart from that, it's pretty well intact actually, but I'm pretty certain this has not got a manual with it. I'm almost certain. And it was really cheap. I think it was something like 15 quid. So I thought, you know what, I'll keep my eye out for a manual in future. You never know. So yeah, cartridge looks pretty good. And it's weird, so some of these just don't go. They just don't change colour. But yeah, cartridge is really good actually. Yeah, cartridge is really nice. No instruction manual. So I'm on the hunt, on the lookout for an instruction manual for Japanese version of Final Fight. Big ask. It may be that I find one with an absolutely battered box where I can flip the cart on or do something like that. We'll do a bit of a two-tier, piece it together if we can. But that's Final Fight, as I say. Again, another system seller, a game changer. We'd not seen that sort of level of, arcade perfect, should we say? Although it's not, it's nowhere near arcade perfect. There's a character missing. I'm well aware of that. Guy's not in there, and subsequently they released Final Fight Guy. Moving forward. But why they didn't put Guy in there, I don't know. Obviously, limitations of the system at the time. I think I would have rather had Guy in there than a Hagar, but I've never played with Hagar, but a lot of people do. They like to play with him. It's just too slow for me. So yeah, I mean, what can you say about Final Fight? It's an absolute staple. It's an absolute classic in the arcades or at home, and to get it on a system at home to look that good when you first saw that, when you first saw that, you were blown away by it. For me, it was. And this is somebody who loves Streets of Rage, right? I love Streets of Rage. Always have it when I have the Mega Drive, and I always play it. But this is better. Boo! In my opinion, the graphics are better, the sound's better. I don't think it plays any better. There's something about Streets of Rage that's, and it's super nostalgic to me, Streets of Rage, So I love them both equally. But as if you were to hold a gun to my head and say which is technically the better game, I'd say this is. Moving swiftly on. Again, system seller. Now, a lot of people don't like this version. They prefer the sequel. I'm going to take this out of its box protector because it was a little bit of crushing on this one. But if you slam them in box protectors straight away, you'll be surprised how square they become. And it's Street Fighter 2. So, big fan of that in the arcade. When this came out, was such a buzz. Everybody was so excited that it was coming out. Lots of talk about the fact that the Mega Drive couldn't do this. This was a playground argument. You can't have Street Fighter on your Mega Drive. Well, obviously, eventually we did, and it's not a bad conversion at all. It's, dare I say, as good. And I know there'll be some people that say it has its pluses, it has its minuses for whatever reason. But I remember this coming out. It was selling for like 120 quid when they first started importing it. As soon as I got hold of a copy, I think my first copy was an American copy. I can remember playing it through an adapter. And I think I only bought the American copy because it was cheaper. I think the American copies were about 75 quid, something like that. Now a lot of people, as I say, prefer Turbo. They think that this is really slow, that it doesn't play as good. And yeah, I could sort of nod me out to that, tip my head to that, and say yeah, I agree. Turbo does play a bit better. It is faster, but for me, the nostalgic hit, that's the one I had, so that's the one I've got to get back. It is complete, this one. We've got the manual inside. We have the cartridge, which again, not bad condition at all. No yellowing that I can see. Back of it's good, front of it's good. So yeah, and again, you can pick this one up pretty cheap. They don't cost a lot of money. Again, condition varies. So, you know, hold out for as good a condition one as you can get is what I'd say. Keep your money in your mind, you know what you want to pay for it. Keep your budget in mind. And if you play the waiting game, you'll more than likely come up against one that's in the condition you want at the money you want to pay for it. You know, but mine always go straight into box protectors because, you know, I don't want anything getting, you know, any more careworn than it already is. So, yeah, Street Fighter 2. I put so many hours into that game. So many hours into it. I think I only ever completed it with Blanca and Ken. Ken's my main go-to sort of character on Street Fighter 2, but yeah, Blanca was pretty easy, wasn't it? You just keep hitting the fucking electrifying thing, you know, and you could take most opponents out. Now this one, did I have this for the PAL system? I don't think I did. I've had it in the past, but I think I've only ever had it on Japanese. I don't think I've ever owned an American or a PAL copy of this. This one's in really nice condition. This one came in last week. I was really pleased with it. Again, didn't pay a lot of money for it. I want to say 30 quid probably did I pay for this one, including the postage. Launch game again. And again, a system seller because of the Mode 7 and the use of that in this game. And that's F-Zero. I think this is the best cover art as well on any of the F-Zero games. It's got like a little bit of a comic strip thing going on behind it. But yeah, nice and square, that one. Not a lot of wear on it at all. Just the odd little bit here in this corner. I'd say that's, you know, pretty much shot fresh, really. You know. What's those flaps like? Flap is good, man. Although there's a little bit of fraying. That's something that happens. The card starts to delaminate, so it's not been bent. Yeah, it's not bent, but if you look on the underside, the card's starting to lift off a little bit. Again, age, this is what happens with it, and you know, this is a way of spotting something that's genuine as well. You know, there's so many good fakes out there, so many good reproductions, that yeah, you've got to be careful. It's in its baggie. It is in a bag with its manual, and the manual looks pretty good. Yeah, nice and flat manual, that's good. Cartridge is in its bag. Yeah, nice and shiny, that label. Good front plastic, good rear plastic. Yeah, everything's good. And I think that's a genuine bag as well, feels pretty genuine. They start to go a little bit sort of almost like greasy. I'm wondering whether they're actually the original baggies are actually the best ones to have, because again, all this stuff starts to break down, the chemicals start to separate in time. You know, you've got to again remember how old this is, but yeah, look at that, really nice. Nice copy that. Nice copy that, guys. Ooh, look at that shine. Yeah. Yeah. Again, not a game I put too much time into. I wouldn't say I would completed it. You know, I've done a fair few of the courses and stuff, but as for coming first at all levels, you know, probably not. So another one that I really need to sink some time into. So nostalgic though, the characterization and stuff on the box art is really cool. That's a cool Japanese game. Last one. So we've hammered through that a bit. I'm a bit disappointed about that power supply. That's really fucked me off, that. Although, as I say, I've just bought a converter anyway for the meantime. That's coming tomorrow. Good old Amazon. And so I'm going to be able to test everything. But I'm certainly going to go back to them and go, hey, it's my fucking power supply, you cunt. Now, again, another one from Japan. Don't know what this one is because I've got a couple coming. I'm hoping it's the other one that is a system seller for me. It may not be. Let's find out. No, it's not. Ah, right, okay. But it is, again, it is another gotta have system seller. Now the guy listed this, it was all flattened out, the box was all flat. but I think this is in a plastic box protector. Yeah, the box in the advert was all laid flat, which worries me slightly, because is this the game that was in the listing? Sometimes they'll do that. They'll put they'll use an old listing. Again, this game shouldn't cost you a lot of money. In the past I've paid less than 20 quid for this on a Japanese copy. And again, condition varies massively. Little bit of side crushage, but not a lot of wear and tear on it at all. Now, I didn't have this on the Japanese system back in the day. I actually bought the PAL release of this. So I tended to do that. I always said with the Nintendo, with the Super Nintendo, the games seemed to take a long time to come out on it, and every time I'd sort of bought one, played the game that I was really keen on and finished it, there didn't seem to be anything else coming out for it. So I used to sell it on, and then they'd release another game, you know, that I didn't realise was coming out that I wanted to play. So I ended up buying another system to play it. And this is one of those. And I can remember I had the PAL version, I had the PAL box set, but it's Star Fox, and I bought the Star Wing pack. I think I had the Mario pack, I bought the Star Wing pack. Don't think I had a Street Fighter pack. I think those are the two PAL systems that I bought, and I only bought this to play this game. System seller. Again, as I say, a little bit domed here on the sides, but put that in a box protector, which I've got here, and yeah, that should square up in no time. Yeah, hardly any wear and tear on it though. It's really good. Doesn't fetch a lot of money though. It don't really never went for a lot in it, and it kind of holds. It's good flap, good flappage. No delamination of the cardboard. Everything's intact. Yeah, it just looks like it might have had a bit of got squashed at some point. What's in there? I have another note. Hi Darren, thank you for your business. My name is Sakunya. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Would be good to deal with you again. Nice little handwritten note. What's going on with the Japanese? They really look after you. Again, really nice crisp manual. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with the condition of these so far. We've got the little controls card that came with this one. So telling you all the fire patterns and your buttons and what they do. That's good. And a Regio card as well. So fully complete this one. I'm not sure if there was a poster or anything with it, this one. Cartridge looks pretty good. Yeah. Nice and great. Like that. Again, when that came out, it sort of blew everybody away. Just the graphical capabilities with that FX chip in it. It really lifted it. It was almost like, you know, it was like a... It did bolster sales, I think. You know, it's something that you'd not seen on another system. You know, running that sort of polygons. You know, it was a bit of a bit of a technical whiz, really, wasn't it? It was a bit of an eye opener that as to what the older systems could do, giving a little bit of a support, giving a helping hand. You know, a little bit like Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive, I suppose. Put a couple of extra chips in there, get a little bit more oomph, and away you go. You know. But I like the Star Fox franchise. There's another Star Fox game coming, but that's going to be in another sort of video I'm going to do about another system that's already here. But we're going to do a little mini collection for that. You know, just one or two games that I really like. And yeah, brilliant to have Star Fox back. As I say, all these first five, all staples. You know, no surprises that they're in the collection, and a couple more on the way. That again, you'll not be surprised at what they are. But the games that I remember having fun with and playing back in the day. Yeah, happy with that. So system nice and grey. Happy with that. As I say, those games, apart from Final Fight, all complete. So yeah, I'm happy with the condition of those. Finding a manual for Final Fight is going to be difficult, but as I say, I sort of weighed up the price of that one. They're difficult to get. I know I may never even end up getting a manual for it, but we'll keep our eyes open. But for what I paid for the condition of the box in, you know, it's Nintendo cardboard. You can't be choosy, you can't pick and choose at this stuff. So yeah, another system added. more holes to drill, more cables to buy, and yeah, we continue. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye now.